Hi, I'm Joni Stuker. Welcome to Lunch and Learn, the Ask Patty monthly webinar series dedicated to courageous conversations among professionals in the automotive industry. Today's topic I love. It's all about effectively working with our product challenges and pricing obstacles. And boy, oh boy, are those prevalent. They are everywhere. Please be sure to share your LinkedIn profile so we can communicate and obviously ask questions in chat. And I definitely do not like to wait to ask questions at the end. So the more engaging, the better. Ask Patty has a legacy of providing automotive business owners, managers, and employees the tools to create and sustain an equitable and inclusive work environment to compete in a very growing, diverse market. Wow. Business leaders must ensure their employees are ready to meet the workplace challenges and thrive. Let Upshift help your business today. For more information, please remember to go to askpatty.com. Again, I'm Joni Stuker. So let's think about it. This show, there are, they call it the 4 P's of marketing: product, price, place, and promotion. Oh my gosh, I think so much about the world today as far as the retail side. There's a distinct difference between car dealerships that will say managers are going, don't bring in customers on cars we don't have, right? And so that's a very distinct, shot across the bow. And then the next conversation you'll have with those managers are, where's our appointments for today? We don't have any traffic. And you want to say, well, they're on the cars you don't have. So we have to be able to possess a skill set to overcome the objections, to motivate and encourage consumers to visit and shop in a manner that actually is enjoyable for them. So this webinar is going to be talking about the obstacles and I guess some of the struggles that stores have. I'm excited because the 2 people that are joining me I've actually known for quite a while. The first speaker with us is Hillary Fields. Hillary actually was one of my trainers for a while. Hillary, she is, I love her bio. She's high-spirited, and I agree with that. She's been the BDC director with over 10 years experience. She's now with the Patrick Dealer Group in Chicago area, which is a lot to tackle. This keeps her extremely engaged, and I think I call it very current with what everyone encounters today. And she's bringing a lot of really good tips, things that didn't work and things that do work, right, Hillary? So I'm glad you're with us. She wrote down that she's very process driven, and I know that for a fact she is. So welcome, Hillary. How are you doing today?
Good. Thank you so much, Joni, for having me. I'm very excited to be here. Yes, I have been in the business development field for about the last 10 years. I've also kind of dabbled in sales, but I'm like Joni said, I'm very process driven. I'm all about the psychology behind scripts and word tracks, and really, the small words that we think don't matter really do and can make a big difference in the conversation. Another thing I'm very focused on is just the cohesion of the business development centers along with the sales floor. I think that's always kind of one of the biggest areas of opportunity for dealerships, is really getting each hand that's talking to the customers into the same place. So I'm excited to share what I have and hear some other feedback from other people too. Excited to be here. So thank you.
So why do you think, on that note really quick, and we'll get to you, Stephen, but why do you think on that note and that some dealers, like, they put it in BDCs and then they get rid of them, and they try it and then they get rid of them? Why do they do that? Why?
Because one hand is not talking to the other. They both know what they're supposed to be doing, but they have not taken the time to really solidify that process to make it work for both ends. So you've got one hand doing their job and doing what they're supposed to do, another hand doing their job and doing what they think they're supposed to do, but no one's really making it collide and work together for the customer. So I think that's where it fails. I think communication.
I agree 100%. And Stephen, welcome. Stephen Garcia, how are you?
I'm doing awesome. How are you doing?
I am good. Okay, Stephen, who looks like he's in his early 20s, actually has 16 years automotive industry experience. I used to train with Red McCombs, which is awesome, and World Car Nissan, and now you're the marketing and inner director at Always Auto Group. I love this little note. Beyond cars, you love traveling, trying new foods, a good old fashioned, cute. And that makes you sound like you're a lot older. Okay, cool. And your next adventure, you're going to go to Tokyo. I'm stoked. That's exciting. Okay,
Yes,
good. It's the only part of the world I've not been is that way. So excited for you. Welcome. So give us a little bit about you. Who the heck are you?
Well, like you said, I've been in the car business for a little over 16 years. Um, and, I think my main focus has been on just structure and processes. I have a military background, and that's really big in the military. And I think it's, one of the things that's kind of missing in the car business is having a structure and processes. And so during my day-to-day activities, I mainly focus on structure and what's going on. I look at the data as far as leads and stuff, and look at the activities, and then try and make a structure and process that works and kind of builds the team together instead of them working differently. Because I think one of the biggest issues in most dealerships is the departments working together, and that has a lot to do with the structure and processes. And so that's what I like to focus on.
Okay, cool beans. All right, guys, let's get started. We have a lot of content to go through. And again, any of your history and stories and things I love to share. So we both kind of touched on it. We have, I know, a lack of product availability. Certainly some product lines are in more strong than others. That interaction between the sales team and appointment setting teams, internet teams, BDC teams, whatever you're going to label it. How have you helped improve that process at your store or for the group as far as improved sales interaction? What have you done specifically? Hillary, we'll go with you first.
Sure, no worries. So this is definitely something that needed work here at the dealership that I currently work for. One thing that I have found very successful is an extra little step for my BDC agents, but they actually make appointment detail sheets. So they'll put any pricing that they discussed, any trade evaluation, their wants, wishes, and needs. And I think the biggest thing on this appointment detail sheet is a box to whether or not the customer is flexible to other options. One thing that I found was happening here at Patrick is immediately, just because the vehicle of interest would show a car that was sold, if that customer was coming in an appointment and that vehicle was still in that field, they would call the customer and cancel it every single time, which I do understand both sides of it. If we also don't want to make customers mad, but we have to understand the word tracks that we're utilizing on the phone. Just because that one car isn't here doesn't mean we should just cancel the entire appointment. So we've, put a process into place here that if that box is checked, that they are open to other options, they're going to let the customer come in and let it stand. And if the customer is part of that small 17% that only wants one specific vehicle, which is that small 17%, then we will do our due diligence, call the customer and say, you know what, that vehicle did just sell this morning. However, we do have these options. We'll feel it out one more time. But we'll have a sales manager or someone that's really able to handle that call and field that call without just getting rid of the opportunity just because that car isn't here. So the appointment detail sheets allow. Go ahead, Joni.
No, I was just going to ask you though.
No,
so this detail sheet, did that improve? Because what you're saying you probably had in the CRM, right? But did that make more?
Yes.
Okay.
Because you can't get the salespeople to read all of the notes and prepare for every appointment. But if you hand them a piece of paper with everything they need right there, right before, they get the customer, then they're going to know, oh, okay, you talked to so-and-so, and it looks like you've got this for a trade, and it looks like you guys have already discussed pricing. You utilized our digital retail tool. So then they can really carry off with that customer with where they left off in their journey instead of starting over again.
Okay. That would ease frustration, that's for sure. Stephen, what do you do to improve that handoff between the communication side to the consumer, I guess, appointment side? What do you do?
We do a lot of the same things that Hillary just mentioned. Sounds like she's got an amazing process that she has there. I would say on top of that, just training on both sides and, making sure that the BDC and the salesperson both realize that most times consumers, they, pick out a vehicle that they think fits their needs just based off the research that they've done. But, like we know, 83% of the people, they don't buy the vehicle that they initially inquire on. So it's important for us not to focus on a specific vehicle, but focus on what the customer is looking to accomplish. Like, why did they pick that vehicle? Is it because it's a four-door vehicle? Like, what are their hot buttons? Is it a mom that's looking for a vehicle that has a car seat or room in the back for a car seat? Or is it, somebody that's going to be towing something? They have a camper, just finding out the customer's needs instead of just focusing on a specific vehicle.
Okay, so then how do you train, or what do you train? When you said training, what does that mean?
A lot of that comes down to role playing. And so, we try and do role playing very often. And, we focus on the customer instead of the vehicle. So when a customer calls in on a vehicle, we of course ask, hey, what kind of information can I get you on that vehicle? And then they'll say, price or something. And then, we tell them, hey, we'd be happy to get you the information on that. What caught your eye on this vehicle? Was it the four doors? What's important to you? Do you want an automatic standard transmission? Is 4x4 important to you? Do you need a lot of room in the back? And then we just kind of go back and forth with that, and then follow that up with, hey, I'm going to get you all the information that you're looking for. Not only am I going to get you information on this specific vehicle, but I'm also going to be getting you information on other vehicles that fit what you're looking for as well, so that they're not tied down to that specific vehicle. And both the BDC and the sales staff have options now, instead of if they were coming in on, let's say, a Chevy Cruise and another customer's out on a test drive on that Chevy Cruise, we're not just sitting around waiting. Hey, Mr. Mrs. Customer, we've got another customer that's on a test drive in that Chevy Cruise, but like I said on the phone, I've got some other options available for you. So while they're doing the test drive, let's take a second and check out the vehicles that we have here right now that are also going to fit within what you're looking for. And then once that vehicle gets back, we'll check that one out as well.
Okay, so something that I can definitely tell you, because we have our own call team at Owner Connect as well, which I think really helps, because you just take TOs all the time, right? I mean, that's what I do. I love it.
Yeah.
Hilarious. But I could just see, because I was talking to a customer before we joined in this, and it was really funny because the rep, it was in a text, and they said they had product available in the consumer text. What colors do you have? And the rep wrote back the two color choices that they had, and then the person went quiet. What you should have responded is, I have access to every maker, or to me every color. What do you lean towards, light or dark? And then you would have kept them going. But the minute she said like pearl white and black, boom, customer gone, right? So think about it. Today's world, we should not make appointments, in my opinion. Make appointments to come in and test drive. What you should be doing is making an appointment to come in and explore your product options. It is a totally different world, right? It's not a matter of going in going, I'm here to test drive that. Because it's funny, isn't it? How consumers, you go, hey, besides that vehicle, what else you consider? And they go, nothing. I go, what about the other 12 stores you emailed? Now that, what about the 6 stores you called? I mean, so they always say nothing else because they're thinking nothing else at your store. And that's where we get in trouble. And how many times do you think guys think your BDC team members tend to be much higher skill level at communication than sales managers, right? And some salespeople, correct? And I think that's where some of that disconnect comes, because it's a little threatening. I would never say I'm there to desk a deal. I'm not a finance person, right? But I think that's where kind of that unease comes into it, correct? Hillary, what do you do for specific training?
So we have actually created a Patrick University here. So it's I hold sales receptionist training, sales BDC training, service BDC training, and sales client advisor training. So we've combined it all into one that everyone on the front end has to go through. We take it all the way from the lead types to the lead sources that we work, to the word tracks that we're going to use, to the 10 steps to a sale, to what we expect, from our sales receptionists on the calls, how to transfer, make sure everything gets to the right place. And we hold them monthly. So we do monthly trainings for any new additions, or anyone who needs kind of a little recap on them.
Okay, so in other words, if I'm struggling, I love that. So if I'm a struggling salesperson, is there retraining opportunities for me before I get relocated?
Correct, there is. Your sales manager would put you back into the Patrick University on the days that they think that you need work on. So there are different days, you know, we'll do script training, power phrase training, Vin Solutions training. So they would put them back into the area that they think that they need more work on. We have little, you know, checklists and things that they have to go through, little knowledge quizzes to make sure that they've captured the information. There's role playing involved with it. And just like Stephen was talking about that he did at his dealership, I think role playing is the #1 thing you can do to help, you know, the reps, because it really puts them in real life scenarios.
Okay, I would agree with that too. Okay, so we're talking about pricing, right? So our big obstacle is always price and product availability. So what do you guys say for price? What's your best price? What's the best price on this vehicle? Because I mean, we hear that
So
like
for
5
price,
million
I always,
times.
yes, it's probably the first question. That and availability you get on every single phone call, so you have to be ready to hit it head on and not avoid it. So with price, I generally train to put it back on the customer first. If they haven't told you where they're trying to be, there's no point in having a conversation about this. So how much is that vehicle? You know, great question. Will I check on that? You know, is there a certain budget that you're trying to stay around, just so I know? And then after they say that, you know, we're going to ask, have you test driven the vehicle? Because if they haven't test driven the vehicle, then there's no point in going any further on price. Like, first, let's make sure this is the vehicle that you love. Once it is, you know, give us your best offer. We're going to do whatever it is to earn your business today. I also let them know, obviously, the best price comes from the manager in the store. You know, we're willing to do whatever it takes to earn your business. Our main goal is to earn your business as a long-term customer. And then I don't steer away from price. I will give them the price online. You know, it looks like this vehicle's priced online at this. However, once again, come in and drive it. You know, we're not going to let, you know, a few dollars stand in the way of earning your business as a long-term client of ours. So we don't avoid it. We hit it head on. We have a number of power phrases that we use that, you know, we'd be happy to share with anyone who'd like them. And they seem to work pretty well.
I love power phrases. They're very powerful. How about you, Stephen?
Oops. Okay, there you go. Kind of the same way. You know, the very first thing, you know, you have to ask them is, hey, have you driven this vehicle? And I mean, if they haven't, well, you know, is time also important to you? Because time is money, and you know, we don't want to waste our time or money if you haven't drove the vehicle yet. But you know, besides that, just you know, talking about things that differentiate ourselves from other dealerships as well is a good thing to do. You know, talking about, because at the end of the day, it's not really about price; it's about value. And when the value feels like it's more than the price that they're getting, that's when they're going to buy. So, you know, we like to build value in not only myself, but the dealership. And, you know, then getting back, you know, to the word track, you know, if you haven't driven the vehicle, hey, why don't you take 10 minutes to come into the dealership? Let's drive the vehicle, make sure it's the right vehicle for you. Because at the end of the day, price is the easy part. But we need to make sure you drive this vehicle, you love it, and it's something that works for you, and we're not going to lose you over price.
It's like saying it's important that they fall in love with it. You know, it's like we like a lot of cars, we don't buy them all. So we need them to fall in love. And the only way you do that, my friends, is by really knowing what the needs and, you know, what are your needs and wants. That's the whole thing, is that fact finding. What about focusing on their personal vehicle too? You ever do that? Meaning you're talking all about like pricing and product availability. When do you focus on what they have? When should we?
If I feel pushed, oh, sorry, I was going to say, if I feel pushback from the customer, if they're too in tune with the price and they haven't driven the vehicle and they can't seem to get off of it, then I'll try to gear the conversation towards their trade and what they're driving now, what's missing in it, have they had it appraised? Sometimes you can get them to come in if you change their mindset of what their goals are.
Yeah. How about you, Stephen? Do you do something along that line too?
Yeah, basically the same thing. And, you know, usually I'm asking about their vehicle way ahead in the conversation. Usually after I ask them, you know, they call in, ask them what information they're looking for. They say they're looking for X. I assure them that, hey, I'm going to make sure that I'm going to get you that information. You know, by the way, is this important to you? Is this? Oh, and by the way, you know, what are you driving now? Oh, amazing.
Okay, very good.
Are
Very
you
good.
looking
So
at
you don't say
replacing
what.
that?
Okay, good. So we don't ask if there's a trade. You just say, what are you driving? Which is perfect. Okay,
Yeah.
good. It's like it's assuming a trade. What do you do? Keep in mind though, there's a lot of times people feel with regards to trade value, they may not get what they think they could or should, and it's a kind of can be kind of uncomfortable for some consumers. So sometimes defenses are even up. So it's kind of like, hey, what are you driving now? And I'll hear, oh, there's no trade. When you hear that, I don't believe them necessarily. So then I would say, really, are you planning to sell your current vehicle on your own? Is that's kind of like who's going to win? The person that stays in front and asks the right questions, right? So putting money or attention to their vehicle, guys, would help a lot. So it's like, even if I don't have anything you want, maybe we'll buy your car. And if you think about it, it's so less pressure for me to come into a dealership to maybe get money from you as opposed to me giving you money. So your show rate gets stronger. And with age comes wisdom. Oh my God, we're getting wise. All right. So let's say that the person says it's product availability and you don't have what they want. Anything that we can do clever to help with that? Put them in a wish list? Take a deposit? No, I don't know. What do you do, Hillary? Because it happens, I know.
Don't worry about what I have stock. Tell me what you need in your next vehicle, and I'm confident that I can assist you. We have multiple brands and dealers across the Chicago area. And our main goal is to assist you. We actually have a used car acquisition team that can go out and search for the exact vehicle for you on the off chance we don't have one. And we've partnered with other dealers in the area if you're looking for a specific new car. We also have great allocations through our manufacturers, as we are one of the #1 dealers in the area. So we do have greater allocations than some of the other brands. So what are you looking for? And then I basically tell them why they should buy from me. My mindset is not really trying to put them on a specific unit at this point or trying to find a specific car that will meet their needs. It's really trying to figure out, what are your wants, wishes, and needs? What are you driving now? What are your family needs going to be 5 years from now, so I can make sure that this purchase is going to be good for you long term, that you'll come back to me, and that you'll send referrals to me. So my goal is figuring out what they need, getting them with the right order specialist, and then trying to fulfill that order or get them over to our used car acquisition team with something like a wish list. We have set weekly reports that go to our used car acquisition team, who, on the off chance, for those 17% of people that we don't have that exact car, they will call them and work them on their own.
Okay, cool beans. All right, what about building consumer trust? Because that's huge. I mean, it is. And let's face it, if we like and we feel good at where we bought our last car, we tend to go back, right? And service where we feel the work is being done, and price fairly. So Stephen, what do you guys do at Always to help build consumer trust?
Here at Always,
Nothing.
What's
Nothing. Did nothing.
that?
We don't do nothing.
We give out popcorn. No.
Exactly. Saturdays are big.
No. Here I really like working here because we're in a small town, and there's a few high schools, middle schools, as well as organizations that are around here that we like to give back to. And it's a huge part in buying from us, especially for somebody that's local. They know that we're not out. I don't know what some people think dealers do with their money, or how much money most people think dealerships make. But here locally, our community knows that we give back to them. So when they're buying a vehicle from us, they're not only buying a vehicle from us, but they're also supporting the local community. And we post about all the events and stuff that we're sponsoring on our Facebook page, so that people can actually see that we're doing something, as well as our recent commercial. We actually invited the 2 high school cheerleaders teams to the dealership and put them in our commercial, because we know that those parents are going to say, hey, so and so's on TV on this commercial, and it's going to get more eyes on us. And also it just goes to show people, hey, we don't just say that we support our community, like we're showing you that we're building support in the community. And then also for our used vehicles, we certify almost 100% of our used vehicles. We don't do that just to show that they're certified. We do that to show our consumers that we stand behind the products that we sell. Even if you're buying something that's used, we want to make sure that it's going to last you a long time. And then there's, you know, other little programs that we have, the Always Advantage program, where we give a year's worth of, well, up to 3 years worth of maintenance on some vehicles, to help the consumer with maintaining their vehicle. And I think, you know, small things like that really help us, especially when a consumer is talking about pricing. You know, we can say we do this, and we can show them that we're doing that. Then they tend to not argue with us so much about the pricing. And then also our current database, we try and stay in contact with them at least every 90 days. And we do that to show them, you know, hey, I know we sold you a vehicle already, but we're not here just to sell you a vehicle. We're here to show you that we're going to take care of you even after the sale.
That's really important. I love that. I'm telling you, most consumers would say the problem is that they buy the car and then when they call back to talk to their salesperson, that they're not there anymore. It's like a turnover. You're no longer important. So that's huge. So every 90 days, an outreach to database.
Yep.
I love that. That's huge. All right, Hillary, what about Patrick? You guys do anything?
Yes, we do a ton. So we actually have 8 different locations, and we work with a number of different community fundraising events pretty frequently here. We do a lot with childhood cancer. Our owner, his son was actually directly affected by this, so it's something that's very close to his heart that he does continually here with the community. We also do the toy drive every year for WGN. We do the Northern Illinois Food Bank. We hold events at the dealership. We have an Alex Lemonade stand. We work with the town of Schaumburg. And we post all of these events both on our website, on our social media drives to kind of get the word out there, which has been pretty successful for us. We also have something kind of like what Stephen was talking about, maybe a little bit stronger, if you will. We've created something called a Patrick Promise that is with the purchase of every new and pre-owned vehicle we use as a selling point on all of our calls. So with the purchase of any new or pre-owned vehicle, you get 1 year of tire and wheel coverage, 1 year of windshield, and 1 year of dent and ding on the outside of your vehicle. So if anything happens, new or used vehicle, you take it off your lot, you know, we're basically saying that we're going to take care of that for you and help you out. We also do a insurance deductible. So whether or not you buy that vehicle from us, if you have a vehicle in your household and you've purchased from us before, we will pay the deductible insurance on that vehicle. So we have a lot of different things that we offer to our customers, along with supporting our community, that will drive customers to choose to purchase from Patrick. We've been in business for over 100 years, and our owners on site here every day, and we'll even greet our customers, which is a big selling.
What generation is he then? Or what generation is he or she? I mean, if it's 100 years, he's not still on the floor, is he?
No, he is not. I believe
120.
Fourth. Yeah. He's not still here, but yes.
Okay.
I believe it's the 4th generation.
Okay, yeah. I was like, yeah, he's still here. Come on, Billy. Oh my God, too funny. Okay. No, I mean, I'm very familiar with Patrick. It's a good group. All right. So what about when a selling lead? If I'm a selling lead, I'm back on this, right? And I'm a selling lead, and I'm just said I'm not going to buy. All right, I'm not. I'm going to put everything off till next summer for whatever reason, and you cannot convince me. What do you do with me?
Well, first I'm going to ask you that because you weren't able to find the right vehicle or the right deal, I'm going to try to determine exactly what's stopping you.
And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. It is whatever it is, and I've changed my mind. That's right. That's it. So I'm going to wait till next year.
Sure. So I'd probably put you in a 90-day follow-up to kind of touch base with you every 90 days because you won't reach out to me. I'm going to have to reach out to you. And not to bother you or anything, just to touch base. Hey, I know that you told me you were going to wait until next year. Just wanted to touch base with you, see if there's any additional information or new incentives I can send you at this time. And just kind of continually reach out every single 90 days, share the new pricing, new incentives, links to new inventory to kind of keep your interest with my dealership instead of somewhere else.
Okay, Stephen, do you do anything different or is that the same pattern? Selling lead goes
Um,
cold.
yeah, it's pretty similar. You know, we call, I would say, on a monthly basis, if especially if it's a new vehicle that they're inquiring on, because incentives change every month. So, you know, we call, hey, so and so, I know you said you're waiting till, you know, August or whenever. I'm just reaching out to let you know the incentives changed. This is what's new. And then we also have a pretty strong email follow-up sequence that goes out pretty regularly. Um, and I like to think of it like kind of like Best Buy. Whenever you buy something at Best Buy, like you're always getting emails from them. So here at the dealership, we always try and send out emails as well about things that are happening at the dealership and just any special that are going on or anything that could benefit the customer as well.
Okay, and then guys, don't forget, if a selling lead goes cold, make them a service customer. So it's really huge. Okay, I'm always thinking that we should communicate for every department, right? So a
Yeah,
lot of
yeah,
times that selling lead go cold, you can make them a great service customer. And my goodness sake, sometimes when they come in for service, next thing you know, we're appraising your car. My gosh, you fell in love with another vehicle. So both sides of the
yeah. And
equation. Come on,
in
children.
those emails that we have going out at the bottom, we always put, you know, any service specials that are
Service
going on.
specials, very good.
Mhm.
Okay, very good. I love that. All right, can you believe it? This is our last few months of the year. I mean, I don't even know where this year went, 2023, bye-bye. So now we have the pressure on. So what are you guys going to do? Do you have any ideas, something special, any kind of promotions for the end of the year? Do you guys work your manifest list? What are we going to do? Share some specific ideas to make sure that we can end strong, because that's what everybody's goal is, I know. So anything you can share with us that would be helpful? Hillary?
Yeah, so we have a major focus on our manifest list, if you will. We don't actually have paper manifest lists, but through our CRM and making sure that we haven't missed any customers that have purchased, you know, 2 years and 3 years ago, that we touch base with all of them, figure out what they're driving, and not just trying to get a deal from them, but also kind of household prospecting them, figuring out who's in their household, how many cars do they have, so that we can think, you know, business long-term. What else can we do for this entire household? How can we get referrals from them? Just to kind of put our outreach to everybody that we come through our CRM this year.
I love it. Okay, what about referrals? Stephen, when do you guys tend to ask for referrals? And Hillary, when do you
At
guys
the end of every call.
okay, positive
Every
conversation?
positive.
Anytime you're talking to somebody, you should be asking for a referral.
I'm proud of you both. Yay, thank you for that. I love that. I believe in
And
that
it's the time
200%. I'm sorry?
you cannot figure out who is going to give you one. It's the times when I'm on the phone asking for a referral, I'll be sure that I'll get one, and they won't give me one. And the times when I'm like, he's not going to give me one, they give it to me.
Isn't it funny? I
The
do that
best is when you get a referral.
I do an
Yeah,
internal
the
thing.
best
like
is when you get.
when you get what?
Yeah. I said the best is when you get a referral from a referral.
I know. It's so empowering, isn't it? And I'm just always blown away by people that go, you shouldn't ask. I go, why not? What does that mean? I don't get it. So a third of your appointments.
I forget the exact stats, but I think it's like if you're in a room with 12 people, at least so many of them know someone who's looking for a car. It's a strong stat. I can't remember the exact one, but.
Okay, cool. I can tell you this, 1 out of 4 phone ups would give you a referral if you ask. I mean, that's huge.
There
So
you go.
this whole thing about driving traffic is ensuring that it's not just traffic that we had to pay to get. It's for people that didn't shop 14 websites. Those are my favorite. Kind of like when you go into a store and I hear people griping like, so sick of the customers today. You know, they want the price, they want this and then. I said, well, then create your own customer. They're a lot more fun, right? So referrals are huge, absolutely. And then another thing too, I think that changed a lot was leasing. In the last year, people that had leases that were coming due, a lot of people bought their lease out, not because they wanted to, but they lacked product options. So as far as it took to go back, leasing customers that purchased in the last year or two are also excellent because they, again, didn't have the choice to move into another lease. So they just bought out. But that to me is a really good opportunity as well. Okay, so Stephen, your manifest list, you said you're emailing. Do you also work that on a phone basis too, or do we do anything with that? Because I know salespeople love manifest lists.
Yes. Yeah, so I like to upload them into the CRM so that they don't know it's a manifest list.
It's true
and
though. It's
and put
true.
them
Yeah.
in as a new lead, because yeah, you're absolutely right. They dislike manifest lists, but when you put them in the CRM and they think it's just another customer, they seem to handle it a little bit better than just giving them a piece of paper.
Right on. What about AI opportunities? Because that's another huge one. You know, VIN Solutions, Ely, they populate. These are not necessarily people that have raised their hand or are shopping, but they have the indications, right? So how do you handle
Mm,
AI opportunities? Because those are, they can really be mishandled. I've heard it a million
yeah.
times. You're like, hey, thanks for your inquiry on the blank. They go, I didn't inquire. Who are you? It's like Big Brother. Okay, so what do we do with the AI opportunities?
You definitely have to make sure that you're not wording it in a way that makes you sound creepy and that you're stalking the customer. Um, and generally, the AI leads that we get are our previous customers going back on the website. So we'll just call them, hey, so and so, this is Steven at Always Auto Group. Wanted to follow up with you. I know it's been a month or two since we last spoke, but I wanted to check on you. Your name kind of popped into my head today, so I wanted to see how your vehicle's doing.
Okay, good.
And
So
then
you're going
they'll
soft approach.
yeah, and then they'll tell me about their vehicle. Hey, and then I can see the vehicles that they were looking at on the website, and I kind of, well, hey, I know you got this vehicle now. Is there any other vehicles that you've seen here recently that you may be interested in? Maybe X vehicle that they were searching on the website about, and then a lot of times they'll be
And
like,
then
you
I'm
know
like,
what,
what
I
a
was
coincidence. What a
yeah.
coincidence, right?
They normally get excited when you go about it that way instead of like, oh, how do you know that?
Very good. Hey, we have a question. What about service? I think you're saying service customers. How do you guys work, or what do you do with your service database? Or what attention do you put to that service database? That's huge too. Hillary, we'll go
So
you.
we target our service customers usually the day before, and then also the day of, because some people do make service appointments the day of. So we will, here at our locations, we utilize anybody that we know that's negative $5,000 in equity or better, that has purchased more than 2 years ago. Then we will contact them and we will basically pitch a buyback. So we'll say, hey, I just wanted to confirm you're coming in for service tomorrow. Are you planning on dropping your vehicle off or staying with it? Perfect. While you're here anyways, my used car manager did note your vehicle is one that he'd be very interested in taking onto our lot. If the numbers were right, is it something you might consider selling or trading in the near future? So it's kind of like a light pitch. And then we actually create a packet. So when the customer comes in, we will have basically like a check for them. And we will have their Carfax in there. We'll have the Patrick Promise and an upgrade sheet, like on, an option. Now, loaners are a little bit hard, but in an ideal world, we like to get them into the car that we want to put them in when they take a service loaner out. It has been a little bit difficult to coordinate that, but we are still trying our best. We'll even sometimes try to pull a sales loaner and put them in that instead of just giving them a normal service loaner, because it really does help getting them behind the wheel. Once they see it, smell it, drive it, they want it.
I agree. We always want something new, newer, bigger, better. What about you, service database, Stephen?
We do kind of a similar approach. The day before, we'll send out a text that basically says, "Hey, your vehicle's in high demand, and we'd like to offer you a free appraisal, no obligations on it while it's here." And generally, they'll take the free appraisal, and then a lot of times once they get the appraisal, they'll start asking questions about the new vehicle, and I think offering that free appraisal to them kind of what's the word, that makes them feel better about you approaching them instead of
Oh yeah.
uh, going about it like, hey, while you're here, you want to check out something? Like, no,
Yeah,
I
like
want
the
to
old
sit here and
school
watch
way.
TV.
Yeah, not nice. The stalker approach,
Yeah,
I always called it. Yeah, that stalker
yeah.
guy. What about dormant service though? Because you're talking about appointments, but what about, how do you reach out to your database that's not actively setting appointments with you guys?
Um, we have a newsletter that goes out to those customers. Usually, it'll have like just something about what's going on at the dealership with some service coupons at the bottom.
Okay. Cool beans. How about you, Hillary?
Yeah, so we have email campaigns that are set to go out to our entire database, based upon our cadences. We also have an app, so whether you've serviced or sold with us before, you actually have an app on your phone that you can utilize that will constantly market and send you little notifications that have our updated specials and things like that. And I like to think that I cover a lot of our database and the cadences that I have set up. So, at some point or another, these customers, if they're in our system, they're going to get marketing and communication from us.
Okay, cool. All right, guys, we have to wrap up. Is there anything else you'd like to share before we say bye-bye?
No, thank you for having us here today. I hope something is, you'll take something from this and reach out after if you have any questions. I love to help and share and brainstorm with people. So just let me know if you have any questions or anything.
Thank you, Hillary. Appreciate it. Stephen?
Yeah, same here. I definitely enjoy talking with other people that are in the industry, and especially different parts of the country to see kind of what's going on there. And I'm definitely open to help anybody that's on here or that watches this in the future that may have any questions. I think y'all are gonna post a link to my website, which has my
What's your
LinkedIn
website?
and
What's your
everything.
website?
It's StephenGarcia.me. So Stephen, STEVEN, Garcia, GARCIA.me.
Oh, hi, Dr. Rader.
Say I came late. I had something
You're
came up.
grounded.
I can't wait to watch the whole thing though, because I just found it really, really good. I appreciate it.
You're
Thank you.
awesome. You're one of the kindest people I've ever met in my life, and I've been around a long time. There's small numbers out there on the nice part. Okay, well, thank you guys very much. And yes, please do reach out because both of these individuals have a plethora of information to help, and they're kind and would do so. Again, thanks for joining. These recorded sessions will post there. If you go to askpatty.com to the Lunch and Learn, they're all listed there as well. The next session is live speed mentoring. Mentoring is a mutually beneficial relationship like this between an experienced expert and a learner. I think all of us, if we've had the opportunity to engage with someone that could mentor, it's a wonderful, wonderful thing. The session is next Monday, November 6th, 1 p.m. Eastern. The same thing, 45 minutes. I'm Joni Stuker, and it was fun. It's good to see you two again. My parting words are always the same. Never lose your sense of humor or your self-respect. Have a great day. Thank you.